Hello everyone, and welcome to our story time. The classic story I want to tell you today is A Dog Bites Lü Dongbin, Does Not Know Good People. Lü Dongbin is one of the legendary 8 immortals. According to legend, he had a close brother Guxing in his early years. Both parents died, and the family was poor. Lü Dongbin took him to live in his own home and encouraged him to study hard. Strive for fame, Guxing was very grateful and studied hard all day. A friend took a fancy to Guxiang and wanted to betroth his sister to him. Lü Dongbin was originally afraid of missing Guxing's future. I wanted to shirk it, but later I found out that Guxing was interested in marrying her. He said, since the wise brother has made up his mind, I will not stop him. However, after getting married, I will stay with the bride for 3 days first. When Guxing heard that, he couldn't help but be stunned. But after thinking about it, he finally gritted his teeth and reluctantly agreed. Married for 3 days, Guxing hid to the side every day and cried secretly. After 3 days, Guxing had just entered the bridal chamber, and when he saw the bride crying sadly, he hurriedly went forward to apologize and said, Wife, you are so wronged. The bride just bowed her head and cried. Langjin, why don't you go to bed together for 3 nights? Just reading to the lamp, dark comes and dawn goes? This question made Guxing stunned. After a long time, he woke up, stomped his feet, and laughed in the sky. It turned out that my brother was afraid that I would forget to read, so he used this method to motivate me. Brother is attentive. It can be said to be too ruthless. From then on, Guxing worked even harder to study. Sure enough, the title of the gold list, the husband and wife bid farewell to the Lü Dongbin family. He went to become an official. A few years later, Lü Dongbin's house caught fire, his property burned down, and his life was impossible. He couldn't stand his wife's repeated advice, so he had to go to Guxing for help. Guxing and his wife learned that Lü Dongbin had suffered a major disaster. After meeting him, he quickly comforted him and said, Brother doesn't have to be too anxious. The younger brother has his own proper arrangements. But 10 days passed in a flash. Guxing doesn't talk about how to finance it at all, except for the feast and hospitality every day. Lü Dongbin thought to himself, it must be Guxing who is ungrateful and refuses to help. In a fit of anger, he stormed out of Gu Mansion. He wanted to go home and was penniless, so he had to beg along the way. Later, a foreigner heard him talk about Guxing's ingratitude. I felt sorry for him and gave him a few taels of silver as the fare, before he returned to his hometown. However, when Lü Dongbin returned to his home, the building that had been burned down had been rebuilt. White paper was pasted on the doors on both sides of the new house. He hurried through the door and saw a large coffin sitting in the room. The wife was covered in filial piety and was crying loudly when she suddenly saw Lü Dongbin. Frightened, he asked timidly, Are you human or a ghost? Lü Dongbin was even more puzzled. It turned out that after Lü Dongbin arrived at Guxing Mansion, Guxing called someone to help him rebuild his home. At noon the day before yesterday, someone came in with a coffin. It was said that Lü Dongbin suddenly died of illness in Gu Mansion. Lü Dongbin heard his wife say this and knew it was Guxing's trick. He also lifted the lid of the coffin in anger, only to find that it was full of gold and silver treasures. There was also a letter on it that read, Guxing is not a heartless man. The road sends silver, and the house is built. You let my wife keep an empty room, and I'll make your wife cry. After reading it, Lü Dongbin felt like waking up from a dream, deeply regretting that he did not know good people. Wrong blame Guxing. He smiled wryly and said, Brother, you helped me so hard. From then on, Guxing and Lü Dongbin kept coming and going, and they became more affectionate. Afterwards, There was a false comment. It's called Dog Bites Lü Dongbin, doesn't know good people. The moral of this story is very profound. It is used as a metaphor for those who do not know what is good or bad, and who take revenge for their kindness. The reason why this story can be passed down for thousands of years, mainly because it reveals the complex side of human nature. It resonated with people. Okay, that's all for today's video. If you like my videos, please like and follow my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time.